Hey students, Mr. Parsons here again. I saved the directing video for last because I think directing is going to be the trickiest one to talk about. Directing takes all of the other elements from film and puts them together. It's the director's job to put all the pieces together and make one cohesive vision. So what you're going to have a director look at is the tone, setting the tone through color and through sound. The directors that make the music, but the director tells the music directors what they want. The look of the film is up to the director. Again, the director doesn't make the costumes or pick the costumes out, but the director is in charge of the overall look of those costumes. And the set, too. Same thing for set design. The director needs to make sure the set fits. Camera and cinematographers, they all turn to the director. The director is in charge of how the overall cinematography looks in the film. So all of these pieces are going to come together in the director's hands. So let's look at a specific scene from Harry Potter, and then we'll talk about some of those elements. Now, in this part of the movie, the students have formed some sort of organization to train, but the headmaster, the Dolores Umbridge, she set up all these rules against their training. So the director's got a big job on his hands. He's got to tell two stories simultaneously. We don't see a ton of dialogue, especially with the villain, but the camera will switch back and forth. The scenes will change without any connection at all. Here the kids are training. We still manage to see some character development. There's some close-ups here so we can see what's going on with the characters. And then it switches back to the villains of the show. And what they're working on. No dialogue with the villains because it's not necessary. The director's object, here we see the guy hammering new rules into the wall. The director's object isn't necessarily to give us a ton of dialogue for the villains. It's just to let us know what's going on. These two plots are simultaneously developing. And that's what's important about the directing here, this constant switching back and forth between two storylines independently. So the director doesn't control the script, but he or she does get to interpret that script. The pacing of how quickly you move through that script is up to the director. So there were sections there where the script might have very little information about how long to have the camera on the villains and how much time to spend paying attention to the villain side of the story or the hero side of the story. The script might not have a lot of details about when to do close-ups. So a lot of that image is up to the director. And also you saw that the tone was consistent. The dark coloring on the hero side and the villain side, we saw the same kind of coloring to show that, there is still some dark drama, some conflict going on. All of that's up to the director. So you've got to pay attention to not one specific thing when you're looking at directing, but the whole image of the movie and how it all ties together from scene to scene to scene. That's the director's job. So as you're doing your director study, you need to be looking at that. And since you're studying one single director, it may not be super apparent from the very first movie you watch, and that's okay. Take what notes you can. But when you get into that second movie, and especially that third movie, you should see some real consistency in that director's style. And that's what I want you, especially at the end of it, your job will be to write about what that director actually brings to the table, what makes his or her style unique from other directors. All right, good luck, guys.